Welcome back to CAISTROLOGY, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be doing your June 2021 horoscopes. Wow, June is a huge month astrologically speaking, guys. We've got a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, followed closely by the astrological event of the year, and that is the Saturn in Aquarius retro square Uranus in Taurus transit. And to top it off, we've got Mercury retrograde for the first 3 weeks of the month. If you didn't catch my May horoscopes, I strongly suggest that you watch the last few minutes of those, because I will discuss the Mercury retrograde transit for your sign at length. I won't be going over it again this month. If you want to skip the rest of this intro, go right ahead. I've got a timestamp in the description box below. But for the rest of you who are sticking around, just a note on which horoscope to watch. Your ascendant horoscope, otherwise known as your rising sign horoscope, will be the most accurate for you overall. By all means, go ahead and watch your sun and moon horoscopes as well. Your sun will pertain more to your career and your long-term goals, whereas your moon horoscope will be more about your home life, your living circumstances, and your emotional world. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the horoscopes. Hi Pisces Sun, Moon and Risings. Welcome to your June 2021 horoscope. On the 6th of June, Mars in Cancer in your 5th house will oppose Pluto in Capricorn in your 11th house. This transit is a pretty tricky one to navigate because it can see you having some kind of disagreements with people in your community, friends, an older sibling, or it could even be an aunt or an uncle on your father's side. The nature of these arguments may stem from you trying to integrate your own personal self-expression within this group, community, or with this individual, and maybe they are sort of like stifling this self-expression. They may be trying to control you in some way, or you may feel like their energy is really dominating and they're not really letting you be your true and authentic self. On a different note, you may feel that these individuals or that these groups of people are unsupportive of your hobbies, your passions, your business, or maybe they're not getting along with your children, or they're not supportive of you being a parent. Now, this may see you wanting to walk away from this group and cut off this connection due to your difference of opinions. And on a different level, if you have children and your child has an existing health issue, it may reach some kind of climax. I don't want you to be worried and watch this feeling like, oh, my child's going to develop some kind of issue. This is if your child is already dealing with some kind of health problem, and it could actually be resolved, because Mars opposite Pluto as a transit carries the energy of a full moon, which means finally understanding the reasoning behind something and potentially finding a solution. So there could be a positive outcome in that respect. And also, your child may just be transitioning out of one stage or one phase of development and into the next. So for example, maybe you've been breastfeeding for however long, and now you're weaning them off being breastfed, and they're moving into a new stage of development. Now, on the 10th of June, there will be a new moon solar eclipse at 19 degrees in the sign of Gemini, and it will be conjunct Mercury, which will be retrograde at the time. This is occurring in your 4th house, and all of this will be squaring Neptune in your 1st house. So this will have a very significant impact on you, especially because it is squaring one of your ruling planets. Now, new moons always indicate some kind of new beginning taking place, and when it's a solar eclipse, this is a very powerful new beginning. So some of you may be buying property, and because we have this square to your 1st house, there needs to be some kind of sacrifice that is made. So for example, with buying property, maybe it's not exactly where you wanted it to be and you've had to reach some kind of compromise. Or maybe you're going to have to work extra hard in your career to be able to afford such a beautiful home. Maybe you spent more than what you were intending to. And with Mercury ruling your 10th house, Perhaps you have taken on a bigger loan than what you anticipated, and now you're having to take on more responsibilities in your professional life. On a different note, some of you may be relocating back home, and maybe it's not exactly where you want to live, or there could be some kind of delay that is involved with this relocation back to a hometown, a home country, or even somewhere that you've lived before. Now, the fourth house represents your mother, and in some cases it can represent the more maternal parent. So just, take this any which way that it applies to you. There may be a new chapter starting in your parents' life, and this will be some kind of powerful new beginning for them. And because it's squaring your ruling planet, or it's squaring your ascendant, this, or your sun or your moon, depending on whether you're a Pisces sun or moon, this could require some kind of personal sacrifice from you. Maybe your mother or your parent needs a lot of compassion at this time. Maybe you need to help them a lot with this new change in their life. And for some of you, you will actually become a parent, whether that is for the first time or you are welcoming another child into your life. A new moon solar eclipse conjunct the fourth house can absolutely indicate a new baby on the way. So just have a look at what degree you've got your Gemini cusp in. If you have a Gemini IC and it's pretty close to 19 degrees, say 5 degrees before or after, this is a real indicator that that could be the case for you. If you don't want to expand your family or have a child, well, better do something about it. Now, you could be falling pregnant, or your partner could be falling pregnant. And it doesn't have to be the biological way. Some of you will be adopting a child or fostering a child. And in terms of this sacrifice to Neptune in your first house, maybe you wanted to have a biological child, but you've come around to realize that no, we better either do IVF or adopt or foster a child, or perhaps you'll be using a surrogate, or some of you out there may actually take on the role of being a surrogate. And also, new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, while Mercury is in Gemini, hello, twins alert. Some of you may be having twins, so just, let me know if that happens. I'm already excited about this, as you can see. Now, on the 11th of June, Mars will enter the sign of Leo, and this means Mars will be transiting your 6th house, and it will be there for approximately 7 weeks. It's been about 2 years or a bit more since Mars last transited your 6th house, so this is all about your physical health, your work, and also this can see you jumping through a lot of hoops to try and gain some kind of loan or obtain pre-approval for a mortgage. There may be some unexpected fees and expenses, especially because Mars naturally rules your 2nd house. And also with your physical health, a lot of you will be very determined to work out and take better care of yourself. This is an amazing time to start working with a physical trainer or to take up some kind of team sport or one-on-one sport. It's a great time to work on your fitness, essentially. But also the 6th house rules anything which is out of balance. So just so you know, you may experience some kind of tension or discord with your boss or with your employees. So just keep an eye out for people who are trying to undermine you or cut you down, because Mars is a malefic planet, and Mars in the 6th house of work can see you having people sort of, trying to get one up over you or put you down in the workplace. So make sure that you are standing your ground and take the high road, especially over the next 7 weeks. On a different note, some of you will just be really, really busy while you're working, or you could be working really hard to try and gain employment elsewhere, or perhaps you're unemployed and you're looking at joining the workforce. This is a really productive time and a very auspicious time for trying to get out there, see a recruiter, and, make it work in terms of trying to get work or to move on from your current role. Now, on the 15th of June, Saturn in Aquarius in your 12th house which will be retrograde, will be squaring Uranus in Taurus in your third house. This is the biggest astrological event for 2021. The first time that we saw this transit take place was in February earlier this year, but this time, as I mentioned, Saturn will actually be retrograde. And the third and final time that this transit will hit will be just before Christmas in December in 2021. So fixed sign squares, fixed signs here being Aquarius and Taurus, are all about investing in something further and trying to maintain something. And the 12th house rules over creativity, while the third house rules over team projects, mentality, your everyday, day-to-day life, and also it rules over your self-made worth. So I'm going to run through about 3 different ways that this may impact you. On one level, if you are working on some kind of creative project, you are going to have to invest more time and effort into it than ever before. With Saturn being retrograde in your 12th house and the 12th house being very creative, you may be working on creating something to do with poetry, music, film, photography, digital art. It may be an invention. Saturn represents anything that we build. So you may be trying to build something which is quite innovative, and that's because Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus, is all about new inventions, science, new tech. So you could be working on any combination of something artistic, but using technology, and you're building it, like I said. And this could also be connected to a long-term goal, because Saturn also rules your 11th house. Your 11th house cusp is Capricorn. So this is something that you have probably been working on for a really long time, or at the very least, the outcome of this will have a very tangible impact on your salary, and maybe even earning some kind of award or achievement for your work. Now, with this square to Uranus in your third house, you may need to upgrade your technology, with Uranus ruling technology and new inventions and being in the third house, which is all about tech anyway. So you may need to upgrade your tech or your skill set, because the third house rules education and learning. You may need to take a new course. The reason why this transit is so intense is because Saturn being retrograde is demanding that you change something. Something is not working with regard to the current trajectory that you're on, or the current plan that is in place. So something needs to change. And also with Saturn and Uranus being in a square, they're pretty much the opposite of each other in nature. Uranus is all about new things and excitement and change and innovation, and Saturn is all about tradition and doing things the tried and tested way, because we've always done it this way. So there is some kind of resistance here, and it could be resistance from you, or it could be resistance from a team that you are working with, because the third house rules small groups, small teams. It rules siblings, relatives, cousins, neighbors, and all that sort of jazz, and schoolmates as well. So if you are working on a project, which I obviously just outlined, with a small team or with any of those aforementioned individuals, there could be a lesson here for you to learn how to work within a team and work with a number of unique different personalities. Also, the 12th house is very secretive. So this is also about you actually sharing your vision, because Saturn rules your 11th house, and sharing these ideas and the projects and all the work that you have been doing with your team, because that is how you're going to be able to get your team to work cohesively as a unit. There may be tensions or arguments with these individuals over your mutual resources, because your 8th house is activated. It is ruled by Venus. You've got a Libra 8th house cusp, and Venus is triggered because we've got Uranus in Taurus, which is the other Venus-ruled sign. So there may be some discord here over how much you're spending with these mutual resources. There may just be, you may just be required to work over and over again at honing your craft and perfecting something, even if it's not working with other people. This could be you working on your own business or trying to put together some kind of training course. That could be another thing that you're trying to develop. And on a totally different level, in terms of spirituality, which is the 12th house, and communication, which is the 3rd house, you may need to invest more in spirituality and understanding your own inner psyche. You may be needing to go on some kind of spiritual retreat or invest somehow in something which is going to stabilize you better, whether that's working with a psychologist, working with a tarot reader, or an astrologer. In any case, this is to improve your current mentality as represented by the 3rd house. With Uranus in your 3rd house, your mentality is all over the place. You're finding it hard to concentrate and to focus, and something's got to give. Honestly, that is like the underpinning message of this whole Saturn square Uranus transit. Something is not working and you need to pivot and adjust and really just change course, because you need to incorporate something into your spiritual practice here so that it will improve your mentality and your own inner rhetoric. There's something which is operating at a subconscious level, with Saturn being in the sign of Aquarius and in your 12th house, and also Pluto in Capricorn. You know, the Capricorn energy and the Saturn energy is very, very activated here, and you need to find a way to integrate these deep-seated fears and insecurities in a way which will allow you to operate on the daily in a more balanced and healthy way. Now, the 12th house rules over addictions, and it's very closely linked to fears. So if some of you are struggling with an addiction, a way to invest in your mental health and in your spiritual health is to actually communicate with siblings, relatives, friends, and also you may need to invest in some kind of program such as Alcoholics Anonymous, because again, you can't go on like this. Something's got to give, as I mentioned before. This is an intense transit, so just take what I'm saying with a grain of salt. Obviously, this is a general reading. Everything's going to come down to your own natal birth chart and the transits which are activating your own personal chart. Nonetheless, moving on to the 21st of June, where we will see Jupiter stationing retrograde in your 1st house. Well, hopefully the last 5 weeks with Jupiter transiting your 1st house will have seen you have a lot more confidence in yourself. You will have learned a lot more about yourself. You may have some kind of increased spiritual awareness or spiritual knowledge, especially because Jupiter's been transiting your 12th house since December last year up until May 14 when it entered Pisces. So now it's going to be about integrating this spiritual knowledge which you have gained in the privacy of your own bedroom or your own home, and really just going over what you've learned and how you can implement this new knowledge and these new beliefs into your physical existence, so that once Jupiter goes back through Aquarius and then re-enters Pisces in December 2021, you will have this like new lease on life and revitalized sense of self, and what is on the inside can shine brightly on the outside. That's what this Jupiter retrograde period is going to be teaching you. And then on the 24th of June, Venus in Cancer in your 5th house will oppose Pluto in Capricorn in your 11th house. Venus and Pluto both represent money and wealth and resources. And Venus rules your 3rd house, which is your Taurus cusp. And the 3rd house rules over friends, relatives, colleagues, but also with Venus in Cancer. Cancer is a sign of family. So where I'm going with this is you may have arguments or experience tension with these aforementioned individuals over things like money, mutual resources, but also inheritances and wills, because Venus also rules your 8th house because you've got a Libra 8th house cusp. You may be having arguments with them because you've found out about some kind of rumors, or there's been some kind of like gossip that's spread about you. Pluto represents secrets. So maybe you have come to find out that they have spread some of your secrets or something that you told them in private. That could be another reason that you're experiencing tension or discord with them. Or perhaps it's about your children, because the fifth house cusp represents children. So you might be arguing with these individuals about something to do with your child, whether you have children or maybe whether or not you should be having children. It could be any of those topics. And also just remember that it doesn't have to be arguments. Oppositions carry the energy of a full moon, which means that you could resolve something. Maybe you've had long-standing issues about these topics, and now you actually reach some kind of compromise and understanding of one another. On a different note, you may choose to end a relationship with a friend or a business connection because the 11th house rules over friendships, so your wider network of people, acquaintances. It rules over older siblings as well. So, all of these relationships are quite triggered. It's just something to be mindful of. And Venus represents relationships. The fifth house represents romance, and Venus rules your 8th house. So these kinds of tense conversations could very well be coming up with a romantic partner as well. Now, on the 25th of June, we will see a full moon in Capricorn at 3 degrees, and it is in your 11th house. It will be sextiling Jupiter in Pisces in your first house, and the sun will be trining Jupiter in Pisces in your first house. So this is quite a positive full moon. You may actually experience a salary increase. You may receive an award or recognition, or achieve something in terms of your long-term goals, like some kind of milestone. And you may actually have a financial reward for this as well. You may earn some kind of revenue or profits. And also, in terms of this goal, this milestone that you achieve, it could have social economic connotations. It could be connected to some kind of charity, and this will be for your personal efforts that you have put in, because we've got Jupiter in the first house. Maybe you have successfully pulled off organizing some kind of large-scale event which took a lot of effort and planning. It could be related to fundraising, charity events, as I said, some kind of work function, a public event, or even something to do with like a political demonstration or a campaign. Or some of you may even launch a new app or network or a project or some kind of online business. So Pisces, that's all I have for you for June 2021. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me at CAISTROLOGY, please subscribe to my channel. Enjoy June 2021, and I will see you guys next month.